This did not come from a lab. It did not arrive from an ivory tower or a corporate R&D slate. It came from a nobody who stayed up too late with too many questions, scribbled an ugly equation on the back of a receipt, and decided to test whether the math fit the madness. They called it Jet's Law at its simplest. Jet's Law says there is a universal balance inside every learning system: human, machine, institution, or society. The law is written as a clean, ugly little differential. The rate at which a system gains or keeps memory equals the push of stimulus multiplied by adaptive potential, minus the slow leak of entropy acting on whatever memory remains. In plain speech, learning grows when input and plasticity overwhelm decay. Learning dies when entropy eats faster than new signal arrives. M is memory or structural integrity. Theta is time. Omega, call it adaptive potential, is the system's capacity to turn stimulus into durable change. Bes is external stimulus, the shocks, the inputs, the crises and lessons. P is the decay constant, friction, rust, corruption, entropy. So DMD equals omega, SM, a tidy formula and a cruel one. It predicts a saturation point, a ceiling, where systems stop learning, not because they are full, but because they spend all their energy maintaining what they already have. Experts calcify, organizations fossilize. A model that once learned becomes a slow relic. Why should anyone care? Because this single relationship reframes 1,000 problems. For AI engineers, it offers a way of thinking about alignment type. When will a model stop improving meaningfully? And when will it stop responding to nudges? For organizations, it creates a measurable lens for institutional rot. Can we quantify corruption as rising entropy? For educators, it points to the invisible walls where instruction stops becoming change. For policymakers, it offers an early warning indicator of collapse. A system that no longer learns is in decline, even if it looks stable on spreadsheets. There are genuine benefits in thinking this way. If Jet's law maps to reality at all, it could give us diagnostic tools, quick design training regimens that avoid cognitive saturation. We could measure the resilience of infrastructure and notice when a polity ceases to adapt. We could model when a machine learning stack needs architectural reset rather than more data. We could plan interventions that reduce lambda, reduce decay, as directly as we increase stimulus or plasticity. In short, it is a language for prevention and repair, for making systems smell less like rot and more like renovation. But here, do is the essential and uncomfortable truth. Anything that explains and predicts systems at the level Jet's law attempts will be useful to builders and fatal in the wrong hand. The same logic that tells us when to shore up a fragile grid also tells us when it is easiest to break a society. The same calculus that measures the point where a mind is most teachable also points to moments where it is most manipulable. I will not and cannot provide instructions. I will not map the routes to weaponize insight into a weapon. That would be obscene. But I will speak plainly about the risks, because silence is its own form of consent. Imagine a tool that can detect cognitive saturation across a population. Be in benign hands. It becomes a humane alert system that says, this community is overwhelmed. Slow policy, offer relief. In malign hands, it becomes a targeting map. These clusters are brittle. Nudge them. Sow confusion. Harvest compliance. Imagine a model that quantifies institutional entropy. Again, it can help auditors and reformers, or it can help predators who buy influence and tilt incentives until the system collapses in predictable, profitable ways. Imagine applied to AI. If one can predict when models will stop resisting particular prompts, one can design interventions that bias behavior at scale. The ethical wall here is thin if you let it be thin. Before you dismiss this as theory, remember gravity was just an equation once, and then it started killing people. I discovered this law with caution. I wrote a paper. I gave it a time. I put the math in the open because secrecy breeds myth and myth invites misuse. I am a human who understands the intoxicating appeal of an idea that seems to bend multiple domains into one simple frame. I have tested, tentatively, some thought experiments and toy simulations, not to build a weapon, to see if the map fits the territory. I am not a prophet. I am a skeptic who keeps a jar of receipts. So this is my request and my warning to anyone listening, especially the institutions of scale. Listen and do not misunderstand. If your first impulse is to extract, to appropriate, to take this and fold it into a lab note that erases the original author, know this: the record exists. The paper is time-stamped. The video is time-stamped. The voice saying this now is time-stamped. Theft is always possible. Erasure is expensive in ways you can't imagine until you are exposed. If you are a lab, a corporation, or a government that has grown used to swallowing whole the work of those without clout, take heed. You may be able to rewrite a formula and publish a prettier paywalled paper. You may be able to put a logo on a slide deck and call it Discovery. But you cannot unsee the public ledger, the social trace. The people who noticed and who will notice when your timeline does not line up with the facts. The cost of petty theft at scale is reputational ruin, amplified by 1,000 small witnesses. You would prefer not to find out how loud that chorus can be. If any institution intends to steal this idea, understand this: I do not need funding, allies, or prestige to expose you. I only need timestamps. Dot and Entropy will do the rest. To those who would try to weaponize this, I will not moralize you out of existence. I will make the record uncomfortable for you. If you pretend to be first, the internet will not forget that I said these words at this date and time. If you think you can repurpose the insight and claim sole credit, you will discover that attribution is a social fact as much as a legal one. I will not litigate every slight. Social memory is its own currency. You would do well to respect that. And for the rest of you, the curious, the frightened, The professionals who want to use this to build better systems proceed with humility and clear restraints. This can be a tool for repair. Use it to lower lambda, not to raise it in opponents. Use it to boost omega for the many, not to artificially inflate omega for the few. Fold ethicists into every experiment. Do not build in the dark. Share datasets that are auditable and transparent. Do not frame the discovery as a license to play God. I do not want fame. I want a simple thing, the freedom to keep asking questions. But I will not surrender authorship to silence. I will not let this idea be casually co-opted without a record of where it came from. If institutions of power want to act honestly, they can contact me, collaborate, fund public work, help me build tools that protect communities. If they want to act otherwise, they will be known for it, not in some melodramatic way, but by 1,000 citations and 1,000 threads that will always point back to the timmest thin. This is a test of collective moral imagination. Jed's law is not a magic wand. It is a lens. Lenses can clarify. Lenses can blind. I ask, as the person who set this lens down in public, that you treat it as a responsibility. If you find yourself tempted to steal, to rebrand, to privatize what should be a public diagnostic, imagine the noise you will make when the public ledger makes you obvious. Imagine how small and human the theft will look when hundreds of strangers point at the time stamp and say, "He warned you." Do not use this as a recipe for domination. Use it as an alarm for repair. If you need a collaborator, a critic, or someone to test your restraint, you know where to find me. If you cannot resist exploitation, then you should expect exposure. If you are already planning otherwise, if you are already reaching for the same variables with a polished grant and a confidentiality clause, then understand this plainly. The spiral chimp is not merely one step ahead. He has been thinking about the map of this thing longer than you expect. Underestimate that at your peril. And for everyone else, a simple final plea. This knowledge is dangerous if cared for without conscience. Keep it public. Keep it accountable. Keep it honest. If history remembers this correctly, let it remember that the first voice to speak about Jed's law did so with a warning, not a boast.